Yena's issue had finally come to an end, and Fang Jueyu had also returned the oil prices of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to their original levels. As for the Kingdom of Selot, being a large nation, it might cause them some trouble if pushed too far. Yena's was sent to a military court, waiting for the congressional trial, while Fang Jueyu's Dawn International Mental Hospital welcomed a new patient, Yena's brother Jade. It seemed Gogh was a bit heavy-handed. The formidable spiritual power left some irreversible damage to his brain. Fang Jueyu didn't linger long in the palace, as he was supposed to meet Wang Kong around noon. This guy had nearly blown up his phone with calls. On the way, Fang Jueyu quickly called Guo Xinyu to reassure her. He didn't want Guo Xinyu to worry, so he just said there was some problem with the communication equipment on the plane, which was why the video suddenly cut off. After chatting for more than an hour, Fang Jueyu finally arrived in Hanluo City at around 8 in the evening. Zhuang Ying had already arranged for Fang Jueyu's private plane from a nearby country, which was expected to be on standby at Hanluo City's airport by tomorrow. The flight crew accompanying him were quite shaken by the incident, so since Fang Jueyu would be staying for about half a month, he decided to give them a long holiday to relax. "You damn scoundrel, what's going on? Weren't you supposed to arrive by 2 or 3 o'clock? You didn't answer when I called, and I've been waiting for hours at the airport," Wang Kong said angrily, almost thinking Fang Jueyu was going to bail on him. "You can't blame me." Fang Jueyu felt wronged as well. "When I flew to the border of the Kingdom of Selot, the plane got shot down by a fighter jet. If it wasn't for my good fortune, I wouldn't be here talking to you. I'd have lost my life." "A fighter jet? Are you kidding me? Why would they shoot at you for no reason?" Wang Kong clearly didn't believe it. A plane shot down by a fighter jet and he survived. "It was that idiot prince named Yena's." Fang Jueyu mentioned the incident to Wang Kong, though he hadn't paid much attention to it at the time. "That guy dispatched the royal army, trying to take me out." "How did you come back then?" "Isn't it simple? I took down all their planes and tanks and returned. You might not believe it, but the king of the Kingdom of Selot personally came to get me, and I even had dinner in his palace." "Yeah, right." Wang Kong gave Fang Jueyu a disdainful look but didn't bother to pursue it further, guessing that Fang Jueyu really did encounter some trouble. "Come on, let me introduce you to the members of our ZZ team." Wang Kong and they had rented a large esports-themed hotel. Though not very big, it was particularly cozy. All the team members were gathered at that moment, studying their next competitor. "Come on, let me introduce someone important to you all." Wang Kong clapped his hands as he led Fang Jueyu into the room, and all the team members and coaches shifted their gaze from the computers. "Whoa, Dean Fang is here. Guys, stop whatever you're doing," the player sitting closest to the edge shouted loudly. "Holy wow, Headmaster, how did you bring Dean Fang along? Are you two planning something for the finals?" "Dean, is it true that if we win the championship, each of us gets 5 million and a Diddy flight coupon?" "Dean, I'm a huge fan, honestly, I swear." The ZZ team's oldest player was just 23, and the youngest had barely come of age. They were all young and got along well with Wang Kong, so they were not at all reserved around Fang Jueyu, making him feel particularly at ease. "Hey, everyone," Fang Jueyu greeted them. "I'm actually your fan too, been watching your matches since a couple of seasons ago. This year our Huaxia only has the ZZ team left, so I had to come and cheer you guys on." Fang Jueyu was quite the League of Legends enthusiast. For many college students, this game wasn't just a game, but also a part of their youth and emotional ties. "Dean, you can't be as stingy as our boss," said ZZ Team Captain Songye. "Principal Wang promised to improve our meals at night, yet tonight's dinner was nothing but instant noodles and we're all starving. You can't come to cheer us on empty-handed, can you?" "Dare you say that again?" Wang Kong suddenly darkened at the side, not because he was stingy, but because the local food wasn't to everyone's taste, and instant noodles were the most liked. Under Wang Kong's threat, everyone immediately zipped their mouths shut. "Wang Kong, that's not the way. How can they win matches if they can't eat well?" Fang Jueyu said. "Let's go, tonight I'll treat you to dinner, eat whatever you want." "Old Fang, you shouldn't spoil them. Spoiling them will only make them complacent," Wang Kong replied. "But how can that be? They took down the strongest #1 seed from our rival region yesterday. Such a feat calls for a celebration, no matter what, right?" Fang Jueyu glanced at the time. "It's almost 9 now. Analyzing opponents won't take that much longer, right?" "Yes, Headmaster, see, Dean Fang said so. You can't exploit our labor. We don't want a 996 work schedule." "Yeah, Principal, we strongly protest." In a typical company, employees talking to their boss like this would have been fired long ago, so it was evident they usually got along quite pleasantly. Fine, fine. Seeing how well you did in the last match, I'll take you out for a good meal tonight. Wang Kong, unable to resist their united resistance, eventually nodded. Yay, the team members cheered at once. They quickly packed their things and dashed out of the room in a rush, only to suddenly run into a group of familiar faces. The STT team from Korea was there. In the 8 years of League of Legends World Championship, they had incredibly dominated, winning the championship for 6 of those because they had entered the World Final in the 3rd year. Huexia's teams had faced them multiple times in the World Championship, but never scored a stunning victory. The STT team seemed to have finished their training as well, planning to find somewhere to eat, and the two teams met coincidentally. Long time no see, Coach Kim. ZZ Team's Coach Wang greeted the other. Jin Zheng showed a smug smile. Coach Wang, you might be going home empty-handed again this year. Jin Zheng and Wang Gen were long-time rivals, but Wang Gen had never gained an upper hand against him. Isn't that Li? Fang Jueyu nudged Wang Kong beside him. Li, whose real name was Li Guang, was the mid-laner for STT, known as the world's top mid-laner. In Huexia, he always bore such a title. What's up? Wang Kong asked. Fang Jueyu quietly grabbed the broom leaning against the wall. This is a perfect chance to solo kill Li. Of course, Fang Jueyu was just joking. Who was Li Ji? He was an iconic figure in League of Legends, and countless mid-lane players took pride in being able to solo kill Li Ji even once. Although they were of different nationalities, Li Guang was truly beyond reproach in terms of character. His skills were superb, and his understanding of the game reached a level difficult for ordinary people to imagine. Not only that, but his lifestyle was also very modest. Any world-class professional player enjoyed a considerable income. He didn't mess around like some players did after gaining a bit of fame and wealth. He often wore the team uniform given by fans, and a large portion of his income was donated to various charitable organizations around the world. He also had a high popularity in Huexia. However, now everyone was in different positions. There could only be one world champion, and the tense atmosphere was unavoidable. I heard that your ZZ team is quite dominant in domestic competitions, but in the World Championship, you seem a bit like a softie, Jin Zheng said mockingly without reservation. What he said was indeed true. From the group stage to now, ZZ team had stumbled all the way through, playing almost every match at a disadvantage. Although they finally made it through, the process was extremely difficult and all the spectators witnessed it. In contrast, the STT team led by Jin Zheng had swept through with overwhelming strength and hadn't lost a single point so far. Their formidable performance gave them the capital to look down on others, and it was natural that Jin Zheng could speak arrogantly. Coach Jin, we're all here to represent our countries. Isn't it unnecessary to be so harsh? Wang Gen's face clearly showed some displeasure. Being spoken to like this, no one could have a pleasant demeanor. Ha, don't take it so seriously, Coach Wang. I was just joking with you. Jin Zheng laughed exaggeratedly. Jin Zheng was small and skinny, while Wang Gen was tall and burly. He really feared that if Wang Gen lost control of his emotions, he might get hit. Who is this guy? Why is he so arrogant? Fang Jueyu, although he often watched STT's matches, was unfamiliar with this Jin Zheng as he rarely appeared in match footage. He's the coach and manager of STT team, a very capable guy, Wang Kong replied. He used to be in Warcraft, but as you know, that game saw many god-level figures. Our country even had a super player known as the Human Emperor. Yeah, I've heard about that. Although Fang Jueyu had never interacted with that game, he knew the name of the Human Emperor Sky. This Jin Zheng lost to Sky quite a few times. Later, after retiring, he became an esports coach, and eventually, STT team hired him. He definitely has some skills. STT team being able to consistently lift the World Championship trophy is partly due to him. So this guy is pretty impressive, huh? Of course, although he's a coach, he has maintained a challenger rank in the Korean server of League of Legends, very high-level skills, and excellent strategic vision. Most importantly, he uses his brains to play games and has a thorough understanding of the game's versions. No wonder this guy is so cocky, Fang Jueyu nodded, beginning to understand Jin Zheng. Oh yes, Coach Wang, our team's next match is coming up soon. I suggest you buy your plane tickets immediately. It's the peak tourist season in the Kingdom of Celeros right now, and if you delay, You might have to stay here for quite a few days. Coach Jin, isn't your joke a bit too much? Wang Yan, who was hot-tempered to begin with, understood clearly that Jin Zheng was saying next match they were destined to win, and ZZ team should just head home early. Coach Wang, this is a competition. Only the victor has the right to laugh till the end, Jin Zheng said with a smile. Our STT team is indeed stronger than ZZ in terms of strength. Do you know why? Jin Zheng laughed arrogantly, because even at the coaching level, your ZZ is already a step behind us. This had always been a sore point for Wang Yan. Few knew that before joining ZZ team, Wang Yan had also played Warcraft for a while. Although Jin Zheng had never won a championship, Wang Yan's team had lost to them more than once. By the way, Coach Wang, what's your rank in the Korean server now? Master, Diamond. Coach Wang, stay calm. They're trying to disrupt your mindset before our actual match. The team members immediately held Wang Yan back. I know. Wang Yan hadn't lost his cool, but being ridiculed like this, he couldn't just swallow it down casually. Although my rank may not be as high as Coach Jin's, my skills might not be worse. How about we have a solo match? Sure, Jin Zheng's eyes lit up. He was supremely confident in his skills. Although he was over 30, his reflexes hadn't deteriorated much, and his operations never faltered. Beating Wang Yan was no difficult task. Coach Wang Kong held Wang Yan back, seemingly wanting to say something. Principal, this is my own match, so don't try to dissuade me. Whether I win or lose, it's my own business, but I absolutely can't let them be overly arrogant. Even if I lose, I have to lose with style. I can't be a coward. Wang Yan pretended to smile lightly. All right, let's not let them look down on us. Wang Kong patted Wang Yan's shoulder, then stepped aside. Coach Jin, let's have it in our practice room. Jin Zheng and Wang Yan faced each other sitting down. Wang Yan took a deep breath. Although it was just an informal offline solo match, he was still a little nervous. The rules of the solo match were simple. Kill the opponent or be the first to kill 100 minions. Jin Zheng chose the aptly named Coffin Board champion, Zerath, who was also the hero he became famous with back in the day. He had an excellent understanding of predicting and executing skills. This hero was great for last-hitting minions and suppressing health in the early game. Wang Yan chose a hero very strong in the early game, Lu Ziyan, a champion known for his burst capabilities. In solo matches, he was a very popular pick. Amidst the tense atmosphere, the computer screen displayed the northern map. The two started with meticulous last hitting. Indeed, Jin Zheng was very strong. When he cleared minions with skills, he often predicted Wang Yan's movements to consume his health. Not long after, Wang Yan had already been hit by several skills and his health dropped to below half. Jin Zheng intensified his suppression, standing in front of the minion line, hindering Wang Yan's last hitting, while maintaining his own health at a healthy state. No, continuing like this will grind me to death. Wang Yan showed a pained expression. It seemed Jin Zheng had a deep understanding of his movement style, with a very high skill hit rate. Go for broke, Wang Yan resolved, knowing that if he could dodge Jin Zheng's control skill, he had more than a 70% chance of killing him. Piloting Lu Ziyan, Wang Yan dashed directly to Zerath's face. His fluid execution quickly brought Jin Zheng's health to half. His own health was very precarious. As long as he was hit by a crowd control skill, he would definitely be killed. He flashed first, but didn't expect Jin Zheng to precisely predict his flash location, hitting him perfectly with a stun skill. Lost, Wang Yan's heart sank, knowing he couldn't survive the subsequent skill burst. As the screen dimmed, a large loss appeared on Wang Yan's screen. We won, the STT players cheered. The rivalry between coaches was just as intense as the battles between teams, and this victory delivered a significant blow to the ZZ team's morale. Although everyone was mentally prepared, the ZZ team members still looked defeated. They blamed Wang Yan, but the loss undeniably hit their spirits hard. Much like ancient battles, where if a general was struck down first, how could the other warriors face the enemy with ease? Sorry, Coach Wang, but in the realm of esports, it seems our STT team is still stronger. Jin Zheng's smile was even more radiant after winning the match. It looks like this year's championship is destined for us. Let's go everyone, let's have a nice meal tonight. Jin Zheng, in a great mood after the win, suggested. Your moves were pretty average. At that moment, a discordant voice came from the ZZ team's room. Jin Zheng frowned. His recent plays were almost flawless, at a level even top-tier current players would respect. Who had the audacity to say something like that? He looked toward the source of the voice and saw a young man about 20 years old, seemingly a player for the ZZ team but not in their jersey. "Who are you?" Jin Zheng asked. "Oh, I'm just a substitute from the ZZ team, the one assigned to the water cooler role, known as the water cooler administrator," Fang Jueyu said. "What the heck?" Jin Zheng didn't understand Huaxia humor, but through the team translator, he learned that this young man was merely a substitute player for ZZ. A substitute player typically held a secondary skill level in the team. They barely had a chance to play unless a main player faced a significant downturn or was injured or ill. Their skills naturally declined without regular high-intensity matches. He easily defeated their coach just now, and yet a mere substitute dared to speak up. Jin Zheng sneered. "What qualifications does a mere substitute have to say my moves are average?" "Average is average. Our coach was just playing casually. If he took it seriously, you wouldn't land a single skill," Fang Jueyu retorted. "If you think you're so good, then show me." Jin Zheng thought this player was probably tired of sitting on the bench and wanted a chance to showcase his skills, which was why he said such things. Jin Zheng easily defeated a coach, so how could an ordinary substitute possibly win against him? He didn't take Fang Jueyu seriously at all. "Sure, I'll play around with you." "Old Fang, what's going on with you? Isn't ZZ humiliated enough?" Wang Kong was slightly angry. He had played games with Fang Jueyu before. Fang Jueyu's skills were at best platinum level. Any member here could easily defeat him, let alone Jin Zheng. "Calm down," Fang Jueyu reassured Wang Kong. "Can't you trust my skills?" "I know your skills," Wang Kong was anxious. "Even with a sword, you might not manage to hit anything." "Hey, why do you see me that way? Am I really that low in your eyes?" Fang Jueyu joked. "I've been learning from a teacher recently. If Jin Zheng hits me with a single skill, I'll concede." "A teacher?" Jin Zheng caught these keywords. "Who is your teacher?" In the esports world, there indeed were many experts with a deep understanding of games, but they disliked public appearances. Jin Zheng was introduced to professional gaming by such a teacher when he started. "My teacher is the one and only bridge overlord of Zhongshan. You probably haven't heard of him. Do you want to play or not? Give me a straightforward answer. Stop dawdling," Fang Jueyu said impatiently. "Hahaha, ZZ team really must be desperate to let an unknown substitute step forward. You must have just joined, right?" Jin Zheng sat back down. "Let's play. Pick any hero you want. As an industry veteran, I feel it's my duty to teach you." "This guy sure is confident." Fang Jueyu gave the ZZ players a reassuring gesture. "Fine, if you want to play, go ahead." Wang Kong resigned himself to the situation. Most predictions targeted strong players. Fang Jueyu's amateur movements might just counter someone like Jin Zheng. Jin Zheng chose Xerath as usual, while Fang Jueyu surprisingly picked Teemo, leaving the onlookers even more frustrated as if he was just throwing himself into danger. "Kid, let me show you what a real expert is." Jin Zheng smiled confidently. But when he launched his first skill, his expression froze. Fang Jueyu dodged it perfectly with his movements. It must be a coincidence. Even for Jin Zheng, it's impossible to guarantee his skill hits every time. Occasional misses are normal. Missing once could be a coincidence, twice could be luck, but missing the third, fourth times definitely indicated a problem. Jin Zheng spent over half of his magic energy and still hadn't hit Fang Jueyu once with a skill. Not only that, Fang Jueyu was strikingly precise with the attack range. After each hit, he immediately repositioned, making Jin Zheng thoroughly frustrated. Since when did this kid get so good? Wang Kong watched in disbelief. Even some of the professional players had their mouths slightly agape. Such performance required a high level of familiarity with the hero and anticipation skills that even they couldn't claim to possess. What could Fang Jueyu possibly not be capable of? But only Fang Jueyu knew he didn't possess such skill levels. It was all thanks to Xiaoye. Xiaoye's computational abilities far surpassed a supercomputer. He could predict Jin Zheng's moves based on his position, direction, and other data. Fang Jueyu couldn't be hit if he tried. How could he dodge everything? Jin Zheng had beads of sweat on his forehead. The more anxious he became, the more minions he missed, quickly falling behind Fang Jueyu by over 10 last hits. Jin Zheng considered risking it, but the health difference between them was too vast, and the cautious playstyle made him hesitant to take any bold actions. When Fang Jueyu's last hits surpassed 90, he panicked completely. "Hey, how many times do I have to say this? When playing Xerath, you must build static shiv and infinity edge. Why won't you listen?" Fang Jueyu took down the last minion and smiled the smile of a victor at Jin Zheng's. How could this happen? Jin Zheng's looked at the computer screen in disbelief. Fang Jueyu's moves were almost beyond human capability. The precision was something only a computer could achieve, right? Jin Zheng's had 10 years of professional career and coaching experience, yet he had never encountered someone like this. Even though it was just one game, it was entirely enough to reveal Fang Jueyu's strength. Old Fang, you're strong, Wang Kong gave a thumbs up. If Fang Jueyu had shown this skill back when they were playing together for fun, would they have crashed and burned every time? Come on, be honest, did you secretly take extra lessons? Ha, didn't I tell you? I recently got myself a teacher. He's the king of Zhongshan Bridge, Wuhu Dashima, Fang Jueyu said exaggeratedly. Wuhu Dashima. Jin Zheng silently noted the name. If the students taught by him were already this good, then just how powerful would the teacher himself be? Could he also be that unassuming esports master? The dean is impressive. The members of ZZ team looked at Fang Jueyu with eyes full of excitement. If each of them could have Fang Jueyu's level of skill and timing, they would definitely be able to sweep the entire STT team in the next match. Sorry, Coach Jin, thanks for the game, Fang Jueyu said. How did you do it? It couldn't be a cheat, could it? Jin Zheng thought carefully but still felt something was off. If Fang Jueyu's performance was just excellent, it might seem realistic, but for an entire match to miss every skill, could a human really achieve that? Why don't we switch computers? Fang Jueyu smiled slightly. He indeed used a cheat, but this cheat wasn't in the computer, it was in his body. So what if they switched computers? This time Jin Zheng chose Jax, a very strong landing champion. As if to insult Jin Zheng, Fang Jueyu picked Xerath, whom he had just used. This time I definitely won't lose to you. Jin Zheng was very confident in his positioning, and most of Jax's skills couldn't be dodged by just positioning. No matter how good Fang Jueyu's positioning was, he wouldn't have any extra advantage against him. Zioyi, any problems? Rest assured, host, even if he has slippery moves, he won't dodge even half of your skills. As soon as the minion waves met, Fang Jueyu hit him with a precise Q skill. Jin Zheng didn't panic. His professional composure was quite formidable. Such high APM. APM refers to actions per minute, also known as hand speed, which to some extent reflects a player's level. Fang Jueyu's frantic clicking and rapid screen switching were dazzling as he cast skills from a distance, giving Jin Zheng's Jax no chance to touch him. Take another cue from me. Another skill precisely hit Jin Zheng again. In the moment Jin Zheng was busy trying to dodge, Fang Jueyu interspersed two basic attacks and quickly reduced Jin Zheng's health to below half. QW, continuous skills rained down on Jin Zheng. As Fang Jueyu began to charge up again, Jin Zheng used Flash with his last sliver of health to escape out of Fang Jueyu's sight. First blood. With that bright crimson prompt, this game's conclusion was once again declared. Too strong, too strong. ZZ Team's mid laner Songya looked on with eyes full of fervor. This was the level of skill he dreamed of achieving, but even as a top domestic mid laner, he was still far behind Fang Jueyu, almost to the point of being irreparably so. Convinced now, Fang Jueyu stood up. Coach Jin, we can overlook your earlier taunts, but there's one thing I must tell you. This year's World Championship, our ZZ team is definitely going to hoist the trophy. Jin Zheng's face turned red and blue in turns. He really wanted to retort Fang Jueyu's words, but he just lost 2 matches in a row to Fang Jueyu without even the chance to fight back. How could a defeated general speak of courage? HMPH, this is a team world championship. When the time comes, the champion will still be our STT team, Jin Zheng said defiantly. Do you dare make a bet? Bet on what? Fang Jueyu looked at him with interest. Of course, on the next match's victory. What are you betting? $5 million, Jin Zheng said. Their team was strong, but funding had always been scarce. In their eyes, ZZ Team was like a piece of juicy steak, ready to be devoured at any time. That wager is too small, isn't it? Fang Jueyu looked at him with disdain. Make it 10 times that. 10 times? Jin Zheng couldn't help but take another look at Fang Jueyu. Wasn't the owner of ZZ Team Wang Kong? How could this little substitute dare make such bold claims? What he says holds as much weight as what I say. Wang Kong had no confidence, but at this moment pride was at stake. We can't come up with that much money, Jin Zheng admitted directly. Let's bet on something else. How about this? If you lose, we don't want money. Then what do you want? Jin Zheng asked curiously. I want you to cosplay as a female champion to cheer for our ZZ team in the finals. How about that? Coach, there's no such person in ZZ's lineup. He's not ZZ's substitute. Jin Zheng's assistant had just checked their roster. All right, hearing this news, Jin Zheng was relieved. Given the current team configuration, he never imagined his team would lose. See you on the battlefield then. Jin Zheng left angrily with his team, but the members of ZZ team did not appear too excited. Rather, they looked solemn. They knew Fang Jueyu didn't care about the money, but if they lost, it would truly be letting down Fang Jueyu's expectations in them. Old Fang, you're really bragging a bit too much, Wang Kong sighed. Fang Jueyu's victory was a heavy blow to STT team's morale, but Jin Zheng wasn't wrong. They had only won a single offline match. Hee, old Wang, have you ever seen me do something I wasn't confident in? Fang Jueyu smiled slightly. Wang Kong thought about it. Ever since he'd known Fang Jueyu, this guy had never suffered a setback. If he dared say such things, he definitely had confidence. Do you have some secret weapon? You got it right, Fang Jueyu said confidently. Just now, in that little bit of time, Fang Jueyu had Xiaoyu compile all data on STT team, including each player's specific character, favored champions, weaknesses, and so on. Even the team's tactics had been thoroughly researched. Although this was a contest that truly tested team synergy and the battlefield changed at a moment's notice, individual habits and thought processes were hard to drastically change. Once you figured all this out, the odds of winning were very high. After Xiaoya's analysis, everything abstract became concrete, allowing each one of them to gain a huge lead in matchups. Without experiencing too many mistakes in the game, they could definitely catch STT team off guard. It would be hard to lose. Not only that, but Xiaoyu had even used its powerful simulation abilities to plan several strategies, with each move aimed at their weaknesses. This was almost like a script already written. Ding dong, Wang Kong's phone rang. These are the tactics devised for STT team. Study them well. Wang Yin, take a look. I don't quite understand it. Wang Kong opened the file and handed it to Wang Yin. Wang Yin examined it for over 2 minutes, and a trace of excitement flashed across his face. The more he looked, the more excited his expression became. Although they hadn't faced each other in a real match yet, following the tactics Fang Jueyu devised, the odds of victory were extremely high. After getting the tactical plan that Fang Jueyu managed to obtain, the members of Team ZZ immediately lost their appetite. Led by Wang Yin, they quickly entered the conference room and began a heated discussion. Old Fang, are you sure about that stuff of yours? Don't worry, as long as the STT team doesn't play dirty and cut our internet, we can definitely beat them this match, Fang Jueyu said confidently. That's not gonna fly. I'd better find a group to guard the power lines at the venue, Wang Kong joked. They have a history with this kind of thing. If they really pull the plug, we won't have anywhere to complain. Ha ha ha, just wait for this year's finals when Jin Zheng cosplays as Lakesy for our ZZ team. Whoa, stop it. The image is already forming in my head. Ugh. By the way, how long till the next match? Is there anything fun to do around here? It was Fang Jueyu's first time in Europe. Even though he'd been in England for several days, it was all various social gatherings, and he hadn't really had a chance to explore. Of course, I've got everything arranged for you. Wang Kong smiled mysteriously and pulled out 2 invitations from his pocket. The invitations were exquisitely crafted and elegant, even incorporating gold and other valuable metals. The invitation alone seemed quite valuable, indicating the host must be someone of significant status. What's this? An invitation to a private auction, originally meant for my dad. He's got an investment deal to discuss these days, so he just passed it to me. Wang Kong handed one of the invitations to Fang Jueyu. Rothschild family. Fang Jueyu noticed the signature on the invitation. Just the name alone was legendary to many. They were a powerful family in Europe, almost controlling the economic balance, with wealth in the billions of US dollars, a real behemoth. However, there were families more powerful than the Rothschilds, like the Saudi family, who owned the entire kingdom of Saudi Arabia, yet were still working for the Fang family. Fang Jueyu was no longer that clueless guy from before. Though the Rothschild family was wealthy and powerful, they were nothing compared to the Ladinic family, which controlled over 1/7 of Fang Jueyu's assets. They were just more low-key. Nonetheless, for Wang Kong and the others, the Rothschild family was still formidable. Their influence was immense across Europe, both in politics and finance. This auction, they were merely the organizers. As for the sellers, most were anonymous since there were often shady items at the auction. If identified, it could be trouble. So interested. I heard some good stuff will be up today. Forget the famous paintings. There's something you should definitely find intriguing. Wang Kong smiled mysteriously. What is it? One of the zodiac animal heads, the lost dog's head from back in the day. Oh, that certainly piqued Fang Jueyu's interest. Many of the national treasures lost back then hadn't been recovered, and this was one of them. Hey Xiaoi, although my grandpa wasn't on Earth during that part of history, why didn't my dad and grandpa track these things down afterwards? With their capabilities, it wouldn't have been hard, right? Fang Jueyu asked. Well, it's crucial to know where these things are first, you know, Xiaoi retorted. Satellite technology, internet technology, these have only developed in the past few decades. Even if I can hack into any secret on your Earth, it's difficult to cook without rice. True, so can you find the whereabouts of the missing animal heads now? There's one I can't find. It's probably been continually transferred and lost over time. Still, it's no hard task. Just deploy a drone to scan the entire Earth. Is that something doable now? With your current tech, no way, but I can help you. All right, I'll deal with that later. For now, I'll find a way to get the dog head back first. Fang Jueyu opened the invitation, which featured some exquisite images of items to be auctioned. The dog head was among them. Apart from the animal head, Fang Jueyu also saw artworks by Picasso and Da Vinci and sculptures by some sculptors. Almost half were art pieces, with astonishing starting prices. What on earth are these? As he flipped further, Fang Jueyu found some strange items. They had no actual images, just a list of chaotic English letters looking like some kind of signal. What are these? Fang Jueyu asked. No idea, first time seeing them too. Probably some small website, haha, Wang Kong joked. Ever seen a small site starting at 200 million US dollars? The prices were jaw-droppingly high. Who cares? I only brought 200 million US dollars. Even if it's the elixir of immortality, I can only look. Ha ha ha, you think you're Qin Shi Huang? Fang Jueyu laughed, yet only he knew that immortality wasn't a dream. If he could develop his potential to his father Fang Hui's level, living 1,000 years wouldn't be all that difficult. Whatever, we'll deal with this later. Lao Wang, I want to get that item back, Fang Jueyu declared. That's what I was thinking. They exchanged a glance. This time my dad's given me loads of money, told me to bring it back at any cost. Is the animal head worth a lot now? Fang Jueyu asked. Yeah, last year the dragon head appeared at an auction. An anonymous buyer from Huaxia bought it for 15 million US dollars. Judging by this auction's caliber and scale, it might exceed 20 million US dollars. Wang Kong had prepared 200 million US dollars. You plan on forking out cash? Fang Jueyu had an interesting look. Ever seen someone steal your stuff and then sell it back to you? Whoa, don't act rashly. This is no ordinary event. Security will be tight, not as easy as dining and dashing. I'm not that dumb, Fang Jueyu said. Once I find out the origins of this dog head, and if that seller is involved in its theft, I'll make them cough it up. Fang Jueyu slammed the table. It's our stuff. There's no sense in paying for it. Old Fang, how much usable cash do you have? Wang Kong asked. What's up? Even if you're going to deal with the owner of the beast head, you need money to win the auction first, right? Wang Kong said. The starting price is marked at 20 million US dollars. I reckon by the end, the final auction price will be much higher. What do you mean by that? I heard from my dad that more than 20 people in Huaxia received the invitation. Tell me, anyone with even a hint of patriotism from Huaxia, what would they do when they see this dog head appearing at the auction? Obviously, they do their best to bid for it and bring it back to Huaxia, Fang Jueyu said without a second thought. Huaxia's national treasures can't remain abroad. You should know, although Huaxia's international standing is rising, many countries still see us as a thorn in their side. If they find out about this, they'll definitely bid against us. There are only two possibilities in a bidding war. The first is that no one from our side can offer a higher price, so the beast head will fall into someone else's hands again, maybe even end up displayed in some museum. If that happens, Huaxia is definitely going to lose face. The other possibility is that the price skyrockets, and even if we do get the beast head, it will be at a great cost, which might be exactly what they want to see. Honestly, while many people in Huaxia are wealthy, you won't find any Huaxia name at the top of the Forbes list. Even though the Forbes list has its biases, It shows that Huaxia still lags slightly in financial power. Growing up in a family of business moguls, Wang Kong analyzed such issues with clarity and logic. His speculations were all within the realm of possibility. "So, I fear 200 million won't be enough," Wang Kong said worriedly. "We might need you to step in to secure the item. That's why I'm asking about your available liquid funds now." Well, Fang Jueyu paused, not quite sure how much liquid capital he could mobilize. "Sister Zhuang Ying, you probably know better than I do." "Young master, the funds I can mobilize amount to the over 500 billion US dollars you currently have in liquid assets. This amount can be accessed at any time," Zhuang Ying said. 500 billion US dollars. Wang Kong almost sprayed water in Fang Jueyu's face. Even the world's richest person's net worth might just be over 100 billion US dollars. And Fang Jueyu was talking about only liquid assets. "Old Fang, what's the deal with your assistant?" Wang Kong found Zhuang Ying's identity increasingly intriguing. He knew she was Fang Jueyu's personal assistant, but had never heard of an assistant managing such vast sums of money. "Oh, actually, I don't know either. I just know her family is big, and her grandfather's name is Zhuang Hanzhong. Their ancestors have ties with my family, and they've been managing our assets in Huaxia, that's all." "Mr. Wang, you might not recognize me or my grandfather, but you've probably heard of my father, Zhuang Fan." "Zhuang Fan?" Wang Kong looked at the ceiling, trying to recall the name. Suddenly, a flash of surprise appeared in his eyes. You're Zhuang Fan's daughter." Wang Kong's father, Wang Lin, had told him that while there are many wealthy people in Huaxia, there's truly only one ancient family. It is said to be as old as the event's organizers, the Rothschild family. The Zhuang family's financial power is formidable, and their network spans all of Huaxia. The strangest thing, however, is that you rarely hear about their overseas ventures. The current head of this Zhuang family is Mr. Zhuang Fan. "Old Fang, who exactly are you? The Zhuang family's heiress serves as your personal assistant. I'm genuinely impressed," Wang Kong sighed. "By the way, Miss Zhuang, you said you could mobilize over 500 billion. Can you tell me, using all of Fang Jueyu's resources, how much money we could potentially gather?" Wang Kong asked curiously. Zhuang Ying glanced at Fang Jueyu, seemingly asking if she should speak. "Go ahead, I'm quite curious too." Fang Jueyu was not entirely sure about his financial mobilization capacity, but by this estimate he reckoned it had to be several trillion. "Mr. Fang's assets are divided into 7 parts. I'm currently holding 500 billion US dollars in liquid assets. Within a day, I can mobilize at least 800 billion euros from Europe. In other regions, an estimated total of about 5 trillion in liquid assets is available." 5 trillion in a day, Wang Kong nearly jumped up. "Are you running a bank or something?" "How funny you say that. I do own quite a few banks." "Not quite, young master," Zhuang Ying interrupted him. "The funds I mentioned are those readily accessible. I wasn't counting the banks. With a week, gathering over $10 trillion would be easy." Wang Kong was rendered speechless. He was already shocked that Fang Jueyu could fund a film city with such a scary sum, but he didn't imagine that was merely a fraction of his liquid assets. No wonder he could pull off such jaw-dropping feats. His wealth truly exceeded imagination. "All right, I guess I'll spend my 200 million on some trinkets at the auction, and I'll leave the beast head to you." Wang Kong figured that even if Fang Jueyu bought everything at the auction, it would be no big deal. He might as well leave this patriotic act to Jueyu. "All right then, I'll take it from here." Fang Jueyu's expression remained calm, but inside he was slightly shaken, realizing the true extent of his financial clout. "Young master, have you decided to attend?" Zhuang Ying asked. "Of course, the national treasure is still out there. I have to bring it back." "Let me arrange it for you. These invitations are for average seats. I can arrange the best seats for both you and Mr. Wang." Even though the auction would be packed with top-tier figures, not all billionaires are the same. Like Wang Kong and Fang Jueyu, both rich but miles apart in status. "I'm sure the Ladinic family received some of these invites too. We can use theirs." Given they operated under Fang Jueyu, Zhuang Ying didn't see the Ladinic family as outsiders. "Okay, arrange it then. As for the money, just bring plenty. If there's something good, just buy it all. Even if I can't use it now, I can save it for my son, ha ha ha." Wang Kong's face turned sour, as if he wanted to hit someone. "Do you think this is a trip to the supermarket?" The auction was scheduled for the evening 2 days later, taking place in a private manor belonging to the Rothschild family in North Tower City, a part of the Kingdom of Sailor. Interestingly, Before their departure, Zhuang Ying had prepared masks for him and Wang Kong. "Why, Sister Ying, we're attending an auction, not a Halloween party. What's the use of this thing?" Fang Jueyu fiddled with the injured-looking, red-tusked demon mask. "Hee, young master, you just don't get it. The Rothschild family's auction isn't an ordinary one. Many shady items end up there. If some people buy them, they might get into trouble," Zhuang Ying said with a smile. "So, covering your face and hiding your identity is a must." "Seriously, it's like we're about to rob a bank." "Gogh, what about you? Why don't you have one?" Fang Jueyu asked. "I don't need such things." Gogh smiled slightly. Suddenly, the muscles on his face began writhing like building blocks, and then magically his face transformed into that of Eddie Peng. "Holy crap, you can do that!" Fang Jueyu exclaimed. With a skill like that, he could practically steal the job of Peking opera performers. As for Wang Kong, who was beside Fang Jueyu, he was even more dumbfounded. Although he lived in the upper-class family, he had never encountered a superpower user like this. "Old Fang, what the heck is your bodyguard?" Wang Kong pointed at Gogh, even with a trace of fear on his face. Maybe it was a human instinctual reaction to encountering unknown things. "Oh, don't panic. My bodyguard has some special abilities. You'll get used to it." Fang Jueyu didn't treat Wang Kong as an outsider. With all their interactions, he would eventually know these things. "Do you want to change your face? I'm afraid if you go out like this, you'll quickly be surrounded by thousands of girls and someone will keep calling you husband," Fang Jueyu joked. "Young master, this isn't Huaxia. No one knows Eddie Peng here," Gogh laughed. "Still, you should change it. As long as no one can recognize you, it'll be fine." "All right." Gogh's face wriggled again, and suddenly it became very ordinary, the kind that wouldn't be recognized in a crowd. "This is amazing," Fang Jueyu marveled. "If I can bring back the animal head this time, it should increase the completion rate quite a bit, right? Maybe I can learn this trick myself then." The incident where Fang Jueyu saved kidnapped children and his donations to various charitable organizations had greatly increased the completion of his first stage unlock tasks. If he could bring back a national treasure this time, he might even complete the task directly. "That might not be enough," Xiaoyi said, "but if you spend a bit this time, maybe you'll complete this big task directly." "Right," Fang Jueyu slapped his thigh. "Then I'll just treat this trip as going to a large supermarket. I'll buy whatever I see, best if I can use up all this money, ha ha ha." "Young master, everything is ready. You and Mr. Wang can depart." Zhuang Ying had already arranged the vehicles. The Ladinic family also had many enterprises in this city, so sending a car was a piece of cake. More than 10 kilometers away, a helicopter awaited them at an airport. "Old Fang, there are just 4 of us. Did you really have to bring a transport helicopter?" Wang Kong looked at the massive structure at the airport in disbelief. "Forget 4 people, it could probably fit an entire troop." "How should I know? It's not my doing." Fang Jueyu glanced at Zhuang Ying. "Young master, I don't know either. I only asked the Ladinic family to send a slightly impressive helicopter. I didn't expect them to go this overboard." It was still an incredibly luxurious private helicopter, with almost all interior space modified, making it a luxury single apartment. "Wow, I thought I was wealthy enough. It seems I still have a long way to catch up with you." Wang Kong silently took some photos and mumbled to himself, hiding in a corner to post on Weibo. The helicopter's interior was adorned with numerous paintings, almost all by famous artists. In the center hung a portrait and something that looked like a totem. "Sister Ying, who's this?" Fang Jueyu didn't remember any historical figure looking like that. "Oh, that's the first clan leader of the modern Ladinic family," Zhuang Ying said. "Actually, I don't know much about their family. I only know that their family went through a huge turmoil. This person became the clan leader after that. I think his name was Gerard Ladinic." "Host, this is the Ladinic family child I told you about, who was taken in by Fang Yang." "Oh, I see, he's quite handsome." Of course, the host Fang Yang taught him some skills to unlock his potential. His genes were enhanced to some extent, so naturally, he's handsome. "And what's that symbol?" Fang Jueyu looked closely. The central part of the symbol was a circle, surrounded by many triangle arrangements, resembling a sun emitting light. "Oh, that's the emblem of your Fang family. All families under the Fang family use this as their emblem. It's an ancient ancestor of your family who carved it, meaning as dazzling as the sun." "But why do I feel like I've seen it somewhere before?" Fang Jueyu thought for a long time, until an image of a giant building appeared in his mind. Yes, I remember now, The Hall of the Hanging Gardens of ancient Babylon had this totem. Our family might have connections with ancient Babylonian civilization. Ha ha ha, you're right. When the ancient Babylonians appeared, your Fang family had already developed for a long time. Your ancestors brought them advanced knowledge, and that civilization was a vassal of your Fang family. Unfortunately, it later declined. That impressive. Fang Jueyu suddenly realized he knew very little about his family. That's nothing. Although your thoughts and technology were too backward back then, even if you were given high tech, you couldn't immediately apply it. But surpassing that era wasn't easy. True enough. Haha, I'll be honest. Actually, ancient Egyptian and ancient Indian civilizations were disseminated by your ancestors. They were affiliated with your Fang family in those distant times, even worshipped you like deities. You know the Sphinx? Of course I do. Ha ha ha, it was created with imagination, using your ancestor named Fang Shu as the template. Ha ha ha, are they demons? Ha ha ha. Fang Jueyu couldn't help but laugh. If those archaeologists knew that the mystery of the Sphinx's origin was just a little accident created by my ancestor, wouldn't they all be driven to madness? After several minutes of flight, the helicopter hovered above North Tower City. The Rothschild estate seemed to carve out a massive area from the city's landscape, resembling an ancient royal castle. This is actually an estate. Fang Jueyu was impressed. Some small cities might be only this large. The cost of establishing such an expansive estate, even purchasing the land, must be astronomical. The Rothschild family was indeed a family with profound heritage. Young master, this is just one of the Rothschild family's smaller estates in Europe. The building area is just over 100 hectares. It's nothing big, Zhuang Ying explained. The largest estate you own in Europe is 50 times this size. 50 times, that would be 5,000 hectares. Yes, there is an exceptional vineyard there, and most of your red wine is produced from that estate. We must visit it when we have the chance. To welcome the guests, the Rothschild family reserved a large area for the private jets of the wealthy. However, most private helicopters only had a few seats. The appearance of Fang Jueyu's colossal craft immediately drew significant attention. At nearly 20 meters in length and over 5 meters in height, those private helicopters seemed like dwarfs in comparison. Whose massive helicopter is that, coming with the whole family? I know that aircraft. It should be the SH-3C King helicopter. I heard the President of the United States has one like this. This person must be significant. Of course. At such an auction, most of the world's wealthy should gather here. It's not surprising, but some items will undoubtedly be fiercely contested. Elsewhere in the square, a group of Asians, with slightly shorter statures and somewhat scruffy appearances, descended from a helicopter. They examined the helicopter with interest, but their expressions were far from relaxed. They were from the Sun Country, neighbors to Huaxia, here on a special mission. Their target was not the animal head or other rare treasures, but something very special and of significant national importance. Do we have enough funds this time? One of them said in an icy voice. Don't worry, Lord Shinjin. We've prepared over 50 billion US dollars. We're definitely qualified to compete for that item. Don't get too excited too soon. Representatives from many countries are vying for it. Their funds match ours, so it will be an intense contest, Lord Shinjin replied. Who owns that helicopter? Is it someone from the United States? Not entirely sure, but as far as I know, the Americans shouldn't be here for that specific item. After all, they were the first to try creating it. Good, as long as they're not coming, let's go in. They donned their masks and moved deeper into the estate. There are indeed many people here today. Fang Jueyu and Wang Kong, each wearing a mask, walked at the front. Zhuang Ying and Gogh Yi followed them. It was rare not to conceal one's appearance like Gogh Yi. Most people were either supremely confident about their backgrounds or simply here to broaden their horizons, unconcerned about being seen. About 1,000 wealthy individuals were invited, plus their aides and bodyguards, so there will certainly be thousands of people, Zhuang Ying said. Young master, this auction isn't that simple, Gogh Yi whispered in Fang Jueyu's ear. I sense many superpower users and some people with a heavy militant aura. What do you mean by a militant aura in ordinary people? Soldiers. Oh, Fang Jueyu raised an eyebrow. If it were a typical auction, such people shouldn't appear here. Most items would be antiques or famous works, which should hold little value for soldiers. Moreover, they wouldn't have the time to leave military duties to attend an auction. Thus, the items at this auction were very intriguing. Could they be the unnamed items? Fang Jueyu speculated. How do we get in? They reached a building resembling a grand theater with strict security at the entrance. To enter, one had to present an invitation. Zhuang Ying had mentioned they had a VIP room. Young master, please follow me. Zhuang Ying led them around the side. On the building's side, there was a remarkably hidden entrance, where a short, portly middle-aged man was looking around. Zhuang Ying removed her mask and greeted him with a smile. Mr. Colt, long time no see. Oh, Miss Zhuang Ying, the middle-aged man beamed with delight. I've been waiting here for you for a long time. Have you arranged everything? Ha, no need for arrangements. Our Ladinic family has never needed invitations to participate in any events in Europe. The middle-aged man spoke with thick confidence and pride. This must be the young master. Overwhelmed with excitement, the middle-aged man's voice quivered slightly. Yes, Zhuang Ying smiled. Young master, let me introduce you. This is Mr. Colt Ladinic. The communication between our Zhuang family and the Ladinic family is mostly handled by Mr. Colt. He's definitely interacted with us the most. Oh, hello, Mr. Colt. Fang Jueyu removed his mask. Upon seeing Fang Juyu's features, Colt almost shed tears of emotion. In their family tree, they always had a portrait of one person, the most important figure of the Ladinic family, Fang Yang. Fang Juyu's appearance was nearly identical to the photograph of Fang Yang. Young master, I've finally met you, Colt exclaimed, shaking Fang Juyu's hand. Welcome to Europe. We appreciate everything your family has done over the years, Fang Jueyu said. It's our honor. Everything we have comes from the Fang family. Our Ladinic family will always be the most loyal servants and supporters of the Fang family, Colt replied earnestly. Young master, let me lead you inside. Colt took the lead, guiding them forward. Excuse me, this is the VIP section entrance. Could you please show your invitations? Security personnel guarded the VIP area entrance. Young master, these two are superpower users. Their strength probably around S level, Gogh whispered. Fang Jueyu nodded. It wasn't surprising for such an ancient family to have a few superpower users. Colt shifted from his humble demeanor. He opened his suit jacket, revealing a Fang family emblem on his shirt. The two guards were stunned. They knew what this symbol represented. It was an indomitable force across Europe, the face of the Ladinic family, where just showing the symbol would suffice. Colt calmly buttoned his jacket, saying, Do we still need invitations to enter now? Is this the VIP area? Not bad at all. This was already an auction full of wealthy individuals. Even the regular seats were extravagantly luxurious and classy, not to mention their highest standard private box. The auction venue was a massive circular plaza, with a lavish auction stage in the middle. Surrounding it were other participants' seats, and from the walls, suspended small rooms extended out, which were special boxes designed to accommodate VIPs. Fang Jueyu and his companions were in the finest one. Wang Kong, coming from an affluent background, had attended numerous auctions of varying scales with his father, Wang Lin, but he had never witnessed anything of this magnitude. In this small room of several tens of square meters, almost every conceivable piece of equipment was present. To ensure confidentiality, there were no staff members here, but there was a highly efficient intelligent robot that could completely replace a server for certain technical services. Of course, there was no need to mention some essential hardware facilities, and the walls were adorned with numerous valuable paintings. At the very front of the room was a special one-way glass through which they could clearly see the outside scene, but those outside could not see inside. Fang Jueyu noticed that many other VIP areas also seemed occupied, as several faint light shadows were visible through the black glass. They had already arrived a bit late, and soon the venue was almost completely filled. However, everyone wore various masks, giving the auction an oddly mysterious vibe. Hey, here she comes. A path stretched from the central auction stage to another room, and a stunningly sexy woman walked down it to the stage's center, a face very familiar to them. Whoa, it's Scarlet. Wang Kong immediately stood up in surprise. The host of this auction was Scarlet. She wore a black long dress, blending beauty with allure. Isn't she supposed to be filming Avengers? What's she doing here as an auctioneer? Fang Jueyu was equally surprised. Oh right, Avengers has already concluded. Master, there's nothing surprising about this. Auctions of this level often invite highly popular actresses to serve as auctioneers. Scarlett's commission for this event will likely be over 10 million US dollars. Wow, earning 10 million in a day. That's really treating money like it's nothing. Shut up, Wang Kong glared at Fang Jueyu. Who are you to say that? Aren't you the biggest spender here? Ha ha ha, Fang Jueyu laughed awkwardly. After today, Wang Kong might have a new understanding of his recklessness with money. Welcome everyone to today's auction. I'm your auctioneer, Scarlet. Scarlet stood on the auction stage, dazzling as if she were on a theatrical stage. The audience erupted into applause immediately. Despite Scarlet being just an actress, in the hearts of many billionaires, she was considered a goddess. Her appearance undeniably elevated the atmosphere. After 2 days of pre-show, you should be well aware, there are 72 items in this auction. Of course, some very special items haven't been previewed. Is it those items identified by numbers? Fang Jueyu quickly connected the dots. You've all been waiting eagerly, so let's warm up with the first item, the 5715 Patek Philippe watch. Another voluptuous lady presented a beautiful box on the auction stage. This watch was specially designed by Patek Philippe to celebrate their 175th anniversary, taking over 100,000 hours from development to assembly and limited to 8 globally, with only 7 ever entering the market. Scarlet began to introduce the watch. This thing has some collectible value, old Fang. Do you want it? Wang Kong asked. You like it. If you want it, I won't compete with you, Fang Jueyu replied. Forget it. It's obvious this is your first auction. Wang Kong had quite a bit of experience. In a regular auction, the first item is usually a headliner, with prices quite high. I didn't come prepared with much money. I can't spend too much here. All right, if you fancy something, let me know in advance. If you don't want it, I'll just buy everything, Fang Jueyu said. Wait, what do you mean by buying everything? Just buying everything at the auction, Fang Jueyu said nonchalantly. Even if I don't need it, I can give them away or keep them for future generations. Fang Jueyu was fully intent on spending a fortune this time. Are you crazy? This isn't some supermarket clearance sale. What will others do if you buy everything? Wang Kong exclaimed. Is there a rule that says you can't buy every item at an auction? Fang Jueyu asked. If that's the case, he'd have to rethink and focus on the higher value items. Well, no, Wang Kong thought it over. Considering Fang Jueyu's personality, he could definitely pull such a stunt. With 72 items up for auction, he could easily use tens of billions of dollars. Buying them all would be a breeze. Now, the starting bid for this commemorative Patek Philippe is 3 million euros, with each increase no less than 100,000 euros. Begin bidding. Scarlet struck her gavel. 3.1 million. 3.2 million. 3.5 million. The price climbed slowly and soon surpassed 4 million euros. This watch had appeared at other auctions before, fetching a sky-high price of 46 million yuan. Given this auction's caliber, the price was bound to exceed that. As the price exceeded 5 million euros, the rate of increase slowed down, and there were fewer bidders. 6 million euros. Fang Jueyu directly entered this figure on the LED display outside his room. 6.1 million euros. Someone hadn't given up on raising the bid. Although the price was somewhat high, it was still worth it for a commemorative watch. 7 million euros. Fang Jueyu impassively added another 900,000 euros. At this, many people's attention shifted towards him. Raising by 200,000 euros once was already incredible, but whoever saw someone add like this? 7.1 million euros. Another reluctant bidder increased their offer. 8 million euros. Is this guy crazy or just too rich? Even in the VIP section, others weren't bidding like that. He must be crazy. Who raises by that much at once? Doesn't he know auction strategies? I wouldn't be so sure. Perhaps he just doesn't care about this amount of money, haha. Old Fang, bidding like that is a loss for you. If others only go as high as 7.5 million, wouldn't you end up paying an extra 500,000 euros for nothing? Wang Kong quickly reminded Fang Jueyu. Is buying this watch for 8 million a loss? Fang Jueyu asked. Not too much of a loss, but it's about the watch's max value. Any higher and it's not worth it. Then it's settled. Fang Jueyu calmly sipped his tea. I'm a bit of a perfectionist. If something isn't a round number, it just bothers me. Obsessive-compulsive disorder. Wang Kong's mouth twitched hard. He had heard of OCD. Some people had to walk on lines when they walked. Some had to eat every single grain of rice in their bowl. Some had to repeatedly check if they locked the door after going out. And the truly bizarre ones even needed the number of toilet papers to be round. But he had never heard of someone who had to round up their purchase amounts. People only quibbled over a dime or two when buying vegetables, but here they were talking hundreds of thousands of euros, only to force them into round numbers, where their brains fried. But Fang Jueyu's bidding this time completely took the wind out of other competitors' sails. They had reason to believe, if someone bid 8.1 million euros, Fang Jueyu would unhesitatingly raise it to 9 million. Is there anyone willing to bid higher? Scarlett's gavel was raised high. Once, twice, thrice. Bam! Congratulations to the owner of Room 1 for successfully winning this 175th anniversary Patek Philippe. Scarlett's face was full of smiles. The auction host had estimated the final prices for each item, and if she could sell for over the estimated price, she would get a bonus commission. For example, this watch, the Rothschild family's estimate was 7.4 million euros. That extra 600,000 euros meant she could earn a 60,000 euro commission. Although not a huge sum, little by little it added up, and if today's bidding was fierce, this commission could surpass her original salary. Next up is the second auction item, a complete fossilized skeleton of the five-colored crowned dragon. A small cart was slowly pushed up, revealing a dinosaur fossil over 3 meters long and nearly a meter tall. It maintained excellent integrity, vividly presenting its former form. Amazing, they even have this kind of thing. Fang Jueyu had only glanced briefly at the auction items before. He hadn't paid much attention to the earlier ones. This was quite rare, and even when excavated, most were donated to the nation or housed in museums. Private collectors rarely own such complete fossils. The starting bid for this five-colored crowned dragon is 800,000 euros, with minimum increments of 10,000 euros. Unsurprisingly, starting with the second auction item, the price became lower. So cheap, Fang Jueyu thought this kind of thing would also be sky-high. His villa's lobby in Jiangnan City had some empty space. Getting a dinosaur fossil could be quite the housewarming artifact. He glanced at Wang Kong. Don't ask me. I'm not interested in such decorative but impractical things. Fine, then I'll take it. Fang Jueyu didn't even think about whether someone else would buy what he wanted. 1 million euros. Fang Jueyu directly raised the price by a full 200,000 euros. Damn, what's with this guy again? Many guests under their masks showed displeased expressions, thinking at his rate they wouldn't be able to buy anything. 1.05 million euros. Someone immediately bid. 2 million euros. Whoa, a Huaxia buyer in the audience was stunned. The price just doubled in an instant. Could they even survive this? Old Fang, aren't you raising the bid too aggressively? No problem, slowly raising bit by bit would only waste time. Isn't saving everyone some time a good thing? Fang Jueyu justified. On stage, Scarlett was already overjoyed. The host's estimate for this fossil wasn't high. 1.5 million euros was the ceiling. Who would have thought Fang Jueyu's bid would exceed it by 500,000 euros right off the bat? What kind of money god is sitting in room 1? Scarlett was suddenly very interested in this buyer. But she didn't show it much, continuing to introduce the next auction item. A bowl made from gold and diamonds. Not bad, I'll get it for Xinyu to use at meals. 800,000 euros isn't too expensive. Chopsticks made from pure jade, I'll take those too. Hawking's wheelchair. What kind of fool put this up for auction? Fang Jueyu was amused by the item. Never mind, Wang Kong, if you ever break a leg playing basketball, I'll lend it to you. Maybe you'll absorb Hawking's wisdom. Wang Kong silently clenched his fists. One by one, 10 auction items, the expensive ones costing millions of euros, the cheaper ones several 100,000 euros, were all won by Fang Jueyu. Although this was just the cheapest batch of auction items, it still sparked dissatisfaction among many. The person in room 1, aren't you being too domineering? A rich, slightly angry voice came from the room next to Fang Jueyu's. This statement resonated with many, as some of the wealthy didn't have very deep pockets and were only there for certain auction items. But Fang Jueyu's uncommon bidding method left them without any participation. The atmosphere of the whole auction suddenly became lively. Some people were discontent, while others watched on with amusement. Have I broken any rules? Fang Jueyu activated the speaker system in his room. A Huaxia person. Fang Jueyu didn't use English or any other language. He wasn't trying to hide his identity anyway. When did Huaxia produce such a wealthy person? Many were curiously looking at room 1. Although the individual auction prices weren't exceptionally high, together they exceeded 20 million euros. That wasn't a small sum. Many probably only brought this much money along. Miss Scarlet, is there a rule in this auction that one person can't buy many items? Fang Jueyu asked. Of course not, sir. Scarlet quickly had Fang Juyu's words translated through her earpiece. And thanks to Fang Jueyu, Scarlet already had an extra income of over 1 million euros. She had every reason to stand by him. Then that's it. Why are you all here babbling nonsense? Fang Jueyu said. I'm following the rules for the auction. As long as I offer the most money, the item is mine. You got a problem with that? Fang Jueyu retorted boldly, clearly in a good mood, while the person in the next room seemed to be picking a fight. Sir, our lack of bidding doesn't mean we lack the ability to continue, that voice said icily. If you're unhappy, raise your bid. Otherwise, why stay like a stubborn banana snake? Fang Jueyu couldn't stand busybodies. Sir, don't go too far. The voice grew increasingly angry. Am I going too far? Fang Jueyu chuckled. All right, since you think I'm overdoing it, then I'll do a bit more. From now on, if you manage to buy anything at this auction today, I'll take your surname. Such arrogance! The owner of the adjacent room snorted coldly and then fell silent. Fang Jueyu indeed hadn't broken any auction rules. The rule was that the highest bidder wins, and as long as no one offered a higher price than him, there was no problem with him winning all the items. The owner of room 2 was a very burly middle-aged man. He had a head of neat short hair, and the cigar between his fingers was almost burnt out. His darkened expression clearly showed his anger. Who the hell is in room 1? The middle-aged man asked coldly. Sir, that room is usually prepared for members of the Ladinic family. The person standing behind the middle-aged man said meekly. The Ladinic family. The middle-aged man's face showed a trace of caution, and there was even a hint of fear. This middle-aged man was named Adam, someone who lived solely in the shadows. But he was a man more powerful than many national regimes because he was the emperor of the dark world in Europe, controlling all the unseen forces beneath the continent. Adam's influence was nearly everywhere. Both the business and political sectors of Europe had his people. His power was almost on par with the Rothschild family, but the one family he dared not touch was the Ladinic family. Just how powerful was that family? There was a saying in Europe's high society. With a mere nod from them, the leaders of most European countries could be replaced in an instant. This wasn't an exaggeration in the slightest, because for a politician to secure their standing in Europe, they needed a massive financial backing, and the Ladinic family was that supporter. Many of the national leaders had become their puppets, with their influence stretching overwhelmingly. The people from the Ladinic family came today. Adam's face turned grave. If members of that family indeed came, he probably wouldn't be able to leave with anything today. Weren't they supposed to have no interest in such auctions? Sir, according to my information, no one from the Ladinic family attended today. The owner of room 1 shouldn't be from the Ladinic family. Adam became more intrigued. The Rothschild family was a very proper family and wouldn't let untraceable people simply sit in a room meant for the Ladinic family. Go investigate. If it really is someone from the Ladinic family, bring a gift and apologize for me. If not, HMPH. Yes, sir, understood. There's always someone looking for trouble every day, such a buzzkill. Fang Jueyu cursed as he sat back down on the sofa. However, the next batch of auction items were of higher caliber. Their prices were bound to rise. Right now, Fang Jueyu had only spent 20 to 30 million euros, which was still far from his small goal. Apologies for the little disturbance earlier. The next auction item, I believe all of you have been waiting for. Scarlet clapped her hands, and an intricately framed painting was brought onto the auction platform. The work of the famous Italian painter, one of the Renaissance trinity, Raphael's The Marriage of the Virgin. Well, the audience erupted immediately. No one was unfamiliar with Raphael's name. Every one of his works could fetch an astounding price. Most of his paintings were held in museums, and private collections were extremely rare. Whenever one appeared, it was sure to be auctioned off at a staggering price. After introducing the piece, Scarlet raised her voice. This piece starts at 40 million euros, with each increase no less than 500,000 euros. 41 million. 43 million. 44 million. Many collectors had come specifically for this piece. Such a painting always had potential for appreciation. As long as it was within their means, many might even sell everything they had to buy it. This painting might sell for over 100 million euros in the end, Wang Kong said. You understand this kind of art. My dad and I saw a Raphael painting at an auction once, and it sold for 180 million US dollars. Although this painting is slightly smaller, the price definitely won't stay at this level. Wang Kong was indeed right. The price quickly surpassed 80 million euros, yet it showed no signs of slowing. Furthermore, each collector was vying intensely, almost to the point of violence. Why do I feel like I've seen this painting somewhere before? Nonsense, this kind of thing was probably in your art textbook from back in the day. What's so strange about seeing it? Wang Kong remarked. No, I remember seeing the actual piece. Fang Jueyu smacked his forehead. Oh yeah, I think there's an identical piece like this hanging in my bathroom. Fang Jueyu suddenly remembered. His home was filled with art pieces, but he lacked any artistic talent or appreciation skills, so he didn't remember them. However, one painting was particularly memorable to him. Every time he saw it in the bathroom, he felt as if he was being blessed by the power of the Renaissance, making certain tasks go quite smoothly. Once, he had joked about it with Gogh, sending her a photo of the piece. Gogh scolded him for being disgusting at the time. Look, it's this one. Fang Jueyu pulled out his phone, and there it was, almost identical to the Marriage of the Virgin, hanging squarely opposite the toilet. No way, Wang Kong looked closely, and in his eyes the two paintings really were identical. What's going on? Is yours a forgery or is this one here a forgery? Young master, the Rothschild family has a very professional appraisal team. Anything they bring to auction wouldn't be a fake, Zhuang Ying said. Then is the one at my house fake? That's even less likely. Actually, both paintings are real. What do you mean? Ha ha ha, although they're both the Marriage of the Virgin, the two paintings were painted by different people. One was by Raphael, and the other was by your ancestor Fang Miao. Explain clearly, I'm not understanding. His ancestors were painters too. Wang Kong was utterly confused. If his ears weren't deceiving him, Zhuang Ying just said Raphael was a student of Fang Jueyu's ancestor named Fang Miao. HMPH, what's so surprising about that? Fang Jueyu retorted. Not just painters, we've had pianists, violinists, there have been quite a few of them in my family. What's so special about it? 90 million euros. Fang Jueyu directly rounded up his previous bid. Is he starting again? Oh no, this painting is going to end up in his hands again. Gosh, how much money does he have? Don't you already have one at home? Wang Kong was anxious. Why buy another? There's only one painting, but my house has several bathrooms, Fang Jueyu explained. You have no idea, there's this mysterious force in the painting. It helps with urination and digestion. I plan on hanging another in the other bathrooms. 100 million euros. The owner of Room 2 seemed to be protesting Fang Jueyu's sweeping auction behavior. Being the underground emperor of all Europe, many of his businesses might not see the light of day, yet the profit margins were eye-popping. 100 million euros was just a small number to him. Adam's assistant had just brought back news. Although they couldn't find out who was in Room 1, it was said to not be someone from the Ladinic family. It made sense. The Ladinic family's business, though vast, had never reached into Asia and had no dealings with Huaxia people. The owner of Room 1 was obviously a Huaxia person. How could he possibly be related to the Ladinic family? But Adam wasn't a fool. Since the Rothschild family gave the room belonging to the Ladinic family to them, this bastard from Huaxia was definitely no small fry. Could it be Huaxia's military? Adam knew that many countries had sent military representatives this time to compete for those items, and Huaxia's research in that area was not very advanced yet, so it wasn't impossible for them to come. Huaxia was no longer the country that could be bullied at will. For Huaxia's sake, the Rothschild family assigning them that room seemed reasonable. But the voice was too young, and the way he was spending money recklessly, wasn't he afraid of running out of funds? Adam didn't really want this piece of artwork, but he wanted to test just how strong the person in Room 1 really was. Is this guy going head-to-head with me? Fang Jueyu couldn't possibly know all of Adam's thoughts. However, he had just made a bold claim. In this auction, Adam shouldn't expect to buy anything, and Fang Jueyu intended to spend as much money as possible. 200 million euros. He didn't lack money at all, shouting out the price without engaging his brain. What, he just doubled it? Is he crazy? I doubt he actually has that much money. Isn't he here just to cause trouble? Organizer, I demand an asset verification for the owner of Room 1. If a 10 million euro price increment still felt acceptable, raising the price by 100 million euros in one go, and in euros no less, was probably something no one could swallow. In this situation, asset verification was the best strategy. Verify my assets. Fang Jueyu found it somewhat amusing. If they knew how much money he had, they might just fall off their chairs in shock. Master, leave this small matter to me. Colt's face was full of disdain. The Ladinic family's assets were already astronomical, and that was just a fraction of Fang Jueyu's wealth. Someone dared to question his assets. Were they out of their minds? Colt dialed a number and said something hurriedly. Moments later, Scarlett, standing on the auction stage, seemed to receive some news. She spoke into her earpiece for a moment, then resumed her previous smile. Ladies and gentlemen, the organizer just informed me that they have verified the assets of the owner of Room 1. They are fully capable of paying the €200 million fee, so you don't need to worry about that. The Rothschild family estimated this piece of artwork was valued at €180 million, but the price Fang Jueyu yelled out had already made a tidy profit. Are Huaxia people this wealthy now? A few rich attendees whispered. Maybe Huaxia has seen the rise of many wealthy individuals. Perhaps the mysterious rich man in that room is one of them. By the way, do you all remember that auction over 2 years ago? Suddenly, someone recalled that incident. At that mention, many people's expressions changed. In that previous auction, a mysterious Huaxian billionaire had also crazily swept through the auction items, much like today's scene, an echo of the past. Could it be? Is it him again? If he's here, what are we bidding on? It's just a show for him. Many who attended the auction years ago where Fang Jueyu was present were getting nervous. That person's wealth was an unknown quantity. A rough estimate suggested he spent at least $80 billion in that auction, a figure that could scare people to death. Is there anyone else willing to offer more? Going once. Scarlett was very satisfied with this price and guessed there wouldn't be a higher bid. Going twice. Hold on, I bid €250 million. The owner of Room 2 once again quoted a staggering price. €300 million. Fang Jueyu wasn't afraid of competitors, only afraid of no competition. Adam didn't really want the painting, but he certainly wouldn't allow Fang Jueyu to win it easily. This way, Fang Jueyu would be taught a warning and a lesson by spending more unjustified money. He simply didn't know that for Fang Jueyu, the more expensive the better. Adam's actions were helping Fang Jueyu spend money. If he knew Fang Jueyu was inwardly thrilled, he might have felt like smashing the table. Do you dare bid higher? Adam's smile widened. 350 million. 400 million. 450 million. 500 million. It's actually reached 500 million, an astronomical price, absolutely astronomical. Just how much money does he have? Isn't this his limit? Fang Jueyu's previously slight smile had also turned grim. He did want to spend more money, but he didn't want to be seen as a fool. Adam's intentions were clear. He wanted Fang Jueyu to bleed money heavily. Colt, who is the person next door in Room 2? Fang Jueyu asked. It's Adam, the supreme ruler of Europe's underground forces, Colt replied. He could tell Fang Jueyu was a bit angry. Master, shall I send someone to give him a warning? Adam's power was formidable, but it was insignificant in front of the Ladinic family. No rush, I want to see what more tricks he can play. Fang Jueyu squinted. Anyone who took advantage of him had never had a good outcome. The painting was ultimately sold for €500 million, and Scarlett was grinning ear to ear. She earned €32 million, more than 3 times her commission already. Congratulations to the owner of Room 1 for successfully acquiring this rare treasure. Now, let's present the next auction item. A platform draped with red silk was pushed up. It held an exquisitely detailed bronze dog head statue. All the wealthy attendees from Huaxia held their breath. After waiting so long, this item was finally being presented. Buy it no matter what, we must acquire it. Fang Jueyu clenched his fists. This was not just an artifact. It symbolized the dignity of Huaxia, something that couldn't be measured with money alone. This auction item is a bronze artifact from the Qing dynasty of Huaxia. According to Huaxia's 12 zodiac signs, there are 12 in total, and this one is the dog head. Similar items have appeared at auctions before, each sold for astronomical prices. HMPH, these people stole our national treasures back in the day, and now they dare to auction them here. I better not find out who is behind this, Wang Kong said through gritted teeth. Calm down, let's buy it back first. Fang Jueyu took a deep breath. Old Fang, are you going to make a move yourself? Let's see how it goes. I reckon there should be quite a few wealthy Huaxia people interested in this dog head. If they can auction it, that would be ideal. We don't need to play hero unnecessarily. Hahaha, why are you so discreet now? When you donated money, it wasn't a quiet affair, was it? I just want to avoid trouble. If I really bring this beast head back, the overwhelming news might drown me. Can I still have a good life? That's true. No need to look it up. I already know, Xiaoyu said proudly. Their security system is indeed high, but it's nothing in front of me. Is it a private collector? No, it's a group of people from the Sun Country, Xiaoyu said. The consignor's name is Jinjin Shuji. I've checked his information for you. He's a minister in a unit under the Sun Country called the Dark Ninja and is also an SSS-level superpower user. People from the Sun Country. Fang Jueyu's expression was slightly complicated. Huaxia had quite a history with that country. It wasn't surprising that they were consigning the beast head, as they had a part in the group of bandits back then. But why are superpower users involved? If they just wanted to sell the old stuff at a good price, there was no need for this. They must be after the last few auction items, Xiaoyu continued. I checked, and recently the entire Sun Country has mobilized about 150 billion euros of funds. All this money is now in Jinjin Shuji's hands, and their task is to bring back that item. What is that thing, do you know? Oh, it's just a code name. It's a human enhancement drug invented by the United States. Most current superpower users awaken innately, but research on artificial superpower users has been ongoing. This is the latest enhancement drug developed by the United States with a 50% success rate and minimal side effects, though it's unclear how it was stolen. Hahaha, host, no kidding, even the United States military personnel are attending today's auction. This is their treasure. If it spreads to other countries, all their research will just be for others' benefit. Interesting, yet another group spending their own money to buy back their country's items. Fang Jueyu asked another question. Is that stuff really that impressive? Not impressive at all, Xiaoyu sneered. That kind of half-finished product isn't worth mentioning. Your ancestor in alchemy over 2,000 years ago could create 10 times better stuff. Can I use it? Fang Jueyu asked again. Better not. Using external items is a last resort. Even if it's something your ancestor made, it would only enhance you to an SSS-level superpower user's strength. With the potential guiding technique I have here, if you practice for a year, I guarantee you could defeat them like they're nothing. Then forget it. Let them fight over it. Fang Jueyu lost all interest in the final auction item. Gogh, can you detect the existence of superpower users here? Fang Jueyu asked. Yes, there are many superpower users among the auction participants. 2 are SSS-level superpower users, but they're just a bunch of trash, Gogh said dismissively. Under Zhuang Xinyan, there was a group of people who used the information left by Xiaoyu to guide potential in their training. They were called hidden elementers. Even as teenagers, they could easily overpower these people. Keep an eye on them. If they try to slip away early, let me know, Fang Jueyu sneered. Even if this item gets auctioned off, they won't take the money home. Yes, young master. By this time, the introduction of the beast head had ended, and the bidding phase quickly commenced. Scarlet glanced in Fang Jueyu's direction. She knew very well that the owner of this room was a mysterious, wealthy individual from Huaxia. Now, openly selling their national treasure at an auction, she suspected this item would definitely stir a storm. Starting price, 20 million euros, with each increase not less than 100,000 euros. 22 million euros. A wealthy individual from Huaxia unhesitatingly shouted the first bid. See, I knew there were still plenty of patriots, Fang Jueyu confidently stated. 23 million euros. This time, the bidder was a foreigner. Fang Jueyu shot him a glance, silently cursing all the women in the bidder's family tree in his heart. 24 million. Yet another voice from a Huaxia individual. It was supposed to be a fierce battle, but it instantly turned into a unified fight against foreign enemies. No matter who bought this beast head, it would ultimately return to its home country. But things weren't likely to go smoothly. There were countless people waiting to see Huaxia embarrassed, and the price quickly soared sky-high. Hahaha, these Huaxia people are so stupid, fighting over a so-called national treasure like this. In one room, Jinjin Shuji and others were laughing uncontrollably. They brought a lot of funds this time, divided into 2 groups. They were well aware that the Huaxia people would do everything possible to reclaim this beast head. 30 million. This time it was a person from the Sun Country. 35 million. A somewhat portly Huaxia individual already had a flushed face. 40 million. Those shameless people. Fang Juyu's face darkened with fury. Others might not know, but knowing the consignor's involvement from the Sun Country, this was clearly a self-orchestrated play. This beast head was made of bronze. Frankly, it wasn't worth such a high price on its own. Its deep significance, however, made the Sun Country people boldly confident, knowing it was valuable. "Old Fang, what's up?" Their acting talent shouldn't be wasted on movies," Fang Jueyu said. "Wang Kong, I've got sources saying this dog head is being sold by people from the Sun Country." "What?" Wang Kong's face changed instantly. "Using such a trick to inflate prices, ha, only they could come up with this. Old Fang, you've got a way to deal with them, right?" "Not for now," Fang Jueyu said. "Let's buy it first. As for the money, I'll make sure they won't even get it warm before returning it all to me with interest." 52 million. The wealthy elites of Huaxia were already feeling quite anxious. The last time the dragon head appeared, the final price was only 14 million US dollars. In their budget, they thought 20 million at most should be enough to bring this animal head back, right? But they didn't expect that the starting price alone was 20 million euros, and now it had almost tripled. Yet, a mysterious bidder persistently matched every bid, far exceeding the item's actual value. 55 million. The Sun Country impersonator increased the bid by another 3 million euros. They were confident. As long as the price was within their funds, even knowing it was inflated, they'd still keep pouring in money. Who the hell is it? People from other countries had almost stopped bidding, but that person from the Sun Country kept challenging them. The group of Huaxia elites could only see a short, chubby man wearing a very ridiculous mask, with no one knowing his real identity. These Sun Country folks are a bit greedy, huh? Fang Juyu's temper had been agitated by the person in room 2. If looks could kill, that Sun Country agent would have died thousands of times by now. He really thinks we're easy marks. Wang Kong had been keeping an eye on the scene. When the price reached 30 million euros, others had given up. After all, even for a blow to Huaxia's pride, spending so much foolish money was unnecessary. They didn't have to waste their limited funds. Only that person from the Sun Country kept holding on. "Zioyi, how much money does that guy have?" Fang Jueyu asked. It seemed this agent was committed to the end. The auction had a special rule. Everyone must undergo a funds check, and if the funds were insufficient, they couldn't bid higher. "Host, this person is carrying 1.5 billion, Zioyi replied. "What a big appetite," Fang Jueyu sneered. "Looks like he can't be allowed to continue or this auction might never end." "Gogh, can your spiritual power control that Sun Country guy from this distance?" Fang Jueyu gestured at Gogh. "No problem. Even if the distance increased tenfold, I could easily control him." "Good, help me shut that damn mouth," Fang Jueyu coldly said, permanently. It was the first time Fang Jueyu had murderous intent. Living in peaceful times, his thinking was shaped by society, and dealing with violence was quite distant from him. Even when hyenas provoked him and sent assassins abroad, Fang Jueyu never considered killing. A lion would never bother with an ant that bit it once, nor did he have such a violent nature. But this time, for some reason, a rush of blood flooded Fang Jueyu's head. He truly despised those who were thieves at heart but still aimed to profit unscrupulously. Yes. Everyone stared intently at the Sun Country man. They believed this man would continue to raise the price. They were prepared to pool all their funds together. One Huaxia person's money wasn't enough, and 10 weren't enough, but 20 believed their combined force would not fail to bring back this dog head. Indeed, the Sun Country man wasn't satisfied with a mere 50-some million euros. As he planned to raise the price further, a mysterious force from the east completely enveloped him. A scream erupted from his throat, startling those nearby and causing them to instinctively step back several paces. "Stay away, don't come near me." He screamed hysterically, as if he'd seen the most terrifying thing in the world. His face turned pale and bloodless, his body trembled uncontrollably, and a nauseating stench emanated from beneath him. Gogh had invaded his brain with spiritual power, conjuring a terrifying scene of spirits from Huaxia victims who perished decades ago. Someone's interfering. In another room, a trickle of red blood flowed from Jinjin Shuji's mouth, his face filled with shock and fear. As an SS-class superpower user, his spiritual power was on par with an ordinary SS-class specialized one. He initially tried to check what happened to his ally, but a powerful spiritual force shattered his attempt, injuring him. "Mr. Shuji," 2 members of the Dark Ninja unit quickly approached him. "Are you all right? What happened? Someone's targeting Mr. Oda, and that spiritual power is immense. My power feels like a river compared to an ocean in front of it. Who is it? Jinjin Shuji's head was dizzy. That spiritual force was only defensive. Had it targeted him, he would have surely died on the spot. What about Mr. Oda? There's no saving him. Jinjin Shuji shook his head regretfully. There's someone formidable at this auction. Snap! After a minute of screams, Mr. Oda, the Sun Country man, eerily collapsed. The Rothschild medical staff hurried over. When they removed the mask, they saw a face with blood oozing from the 7 orifices, filled with terror. Sudden cardiac arrest and cerebral hemorrhage. One medical worker diagnosed promptly, then quickly transported him away. Is he dead? Fang Jueyu showed no sympathy in his eyes. Dying here wouldn't be good. It would disrupt the auction, Gogh said. Don't worry, young master. He won't leave this auction alive. Yes, very good. Fang Jueyu nodded in satisfaction. The death of the Sun Country man here would have caused panic. Sorry, I just received word that the gentleman seems to have had some condition that suddenly flared. There's no need to panic, Scarlet said. Hearing her words, the atmosphere calmed again. After all, strangers' lives meant little to most attendees. With the bloodstains handled, the auction resumed. Without the Sun Country man's malicious bidding, the dog head was finally won by a Huaxia tycoon for 56 million euros. The Huaxia elites gathered, celebrating this joyful event with high fives. Ding! That tycoon's phone unexpectedly received a message. Your bank account ending in 6738 has received 500 million RMB. Moments later, he received an anonymous email. This is for the animal head. Who was it? His eyes scanned the faces of the Huaxia buyers, then settled towards room 1. Was it him? 20 auction items had already been sold one after another. With Fang Jueyu present, not a single item had the possibility of being unsold. He had snagged all of them except for that bronze dog head. Faced with such aggressive bidding, everyone was infuriated but dared not speak up. What could they do? They simply didn't have as much money as Fang Jueyu did. If someone spends money on something, what fault can you find? Well, if you have the guts, offer a higher price. Not impressive, these items are way too cheap, Fang Jueyu grumbled unsatisfiedly. After purchasing 19 items, he had only spent a little over 2 billion euros, which barely dented his principal. However, the completion of this task was pegged to the percentage spent. If he submitted the task now, he'd likely go crazy over the level of permission Zio you would grant him. Is this cheap? Wang Kong was already drinking alone on the side. He had just purchased a set of diamond crystal goblets worth nearly 100 million euros without batting an eye. Drinking from diamond cups. Wouldn't it make more sense to buy a few cars, buy a few houses, or make an investment with that money? Is this even spending money? This is clearly tossing it away, yet it's still too cheap. Wang Kong, I'm no less of a rich second generation, okay? How come compared to Fang Jueyu I'm like a beggar? Could someone explain what kind of play this is? Old Wang, you really aren't fair. Such a fun thing and you just now invite me. Fang Jueyu protested displeased. You think gatherings like this happen all the time? We've only known each other a few months, haven't we? Do you believe I'll smash your dog head in? Wang Kong was on the brink of blowing up. How had Fang Jueyu become increasingly slick? It seems like this whole auction has turned into your personal showcase, while others are just tourists here for fun. They traveled so far just to watch you flaunt your wealth. This world truly is unkind. Heh heh heh, Fang Jueyu chuckled foolishly. What are you laughing at? Look, what have you turned a perfectly good auction into? Wang Kong pointed at the crowd below. Wang Kong had attended many auctions before, each buzzing and lively, with everyone vying fiercely. This was what an auction should be. Now though, all the participants below were engrossed in their phones. Each time a new auction item came up, they merely glanced up before continuing with their tasks. At first, some occasionally bid against him, but after a few rounds, Fang Jueyu's prices were utterly heart-wrenching. Who would still want to play with him? The subsequent 5 or 6 auction items were almost all bought at starting prices, making the entire auction deathly quiet. This was still called an auction. Ha ha ha, Fang Jueyu, come look. The foreign social media platforms are about to explode. Suddenly, Wang Kong seemed to spot something amusing, pointing at his phone and screeching like a goose. What's so funny? Curious, Fang Jueyu took Wang Kong's phone. It was the foreigner's favorite Twitter and Facebook, and seated here were many affluent individuals. Their identities and statuses meant they had numerous followers, and every post generated countless comments. Hello, everyone. I'm Bill Gates. I'm currently at an auction, and seemingly someone is monopolizing it. You might find it unbelievable, but I brought 1 billion euros and haven't purchased a single item yet. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jeff Bezos, even richer than Bill Gates. Now I feel like a beggar. I'm Buffett. May I ask, are all Huaxia folks this amazing now? Can I immigrate? I promise to pay my taxes on time. Almost every recognizable millionaire worldwide made similar comments on their social media platforms. While they were self-deprecating and resigned, it wasn't hard to infer that they were probably at a highly sizable auction. But at this auction, there appeared a Huaxia tycoon wealthy enough to make them feel like paupers. This person played by no conventional rules and practically garnered all the auction items. This was indeed a major piece of news, quickly spreading globally. If Fang Jueyu revealed his identity now, he would undoubtedly become a household name worldwide, and the first stage's permission task would surely be instantly completed. Not just abroad, even Huaxia's netizens went frantic. Even the world's richest had bitten the dust. Could it be that Forbes' rich list had turned out to be so inflated? Big mouth of Kang Shifu, does anyone know who this mysterious Huaxia millionaire is? Seeking an explainer. Red carp and green carp and donkey. At Fang Jueyu, director, is this your dad? Your wife leaks air. Heard the director was recently in Europe. Could that person be the director? Wild horse with prolapse. Stop asking, ask and it's my husband. Ha 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 ha. See, you're usually so showy, now people even guess correctly. Laugh up, laugh yourself to death. Fang Jueyu tossed the phone back. I just want to spend money, so why must these people make such a big deal out of it? They've even started to dox me. Just want to spend money. Just go buy a Harmony train. Wang Kong rolled his eyes. Or build a spaceship. Just hand the mission of exploring aliens and protecting the Earth to you. I'm serious, believe it or not. Fang Jueyu returned to the sofa. After a brief rest, the auction continued. What are you still buying? I think you should directly find someone from the Rothschild family and tell them you want everything. Let them name a price, then package it all and bring it home and call it done. Wang Kong already felt uninterested in the auction. To prevent the omnipotent netizens from discovering his identity, Fang Jueyu quickly had Xiao Yi synthesize a photo of him on Weibo, then threatened Wang Kong. If you dare expose me, I'll buy your dad's paddock tomorrow. Scarlett's expression was somewhat sullen now. Even though Fang Jueyu's crazy spree earlier was going to score her a fortune, several items were just being sold at starting prices. If speaking strictly, this counted as a failure on the auctioneer's part. After all, an auctioneer's duty is to fetch the highest possible price for items. The next auction item we initially planned to auction last, but following the organizer's decision, we will auction 2 sets of DSB-003 enhancement potions, starting at 1 billion euros per set, with no price limitation. Scarlett hadn't received detailed information about this batch of enhancement potions, and the organizers had told her she didn't need to know, so this introduction was exceptionally brief. As soon as she finished speaking, the nearly silent auction hall immediately transformed. Everyone raised their heads. Those who knew were rubbing their hands, secretly mobilizing funds. Those who didn't were curious about this auction item. The surrounding atmosphere subtly turned somewhat tense. It was me. Start mobilizing funds. The DSB-003 auction began early. How much funds can be mobilized? Give me everything. This time we must obtain this technology. What? Only 2 billion euros can be mobilized. Not enough, absolutely not enough. Quickly, you have a maximum of 10 minutes.